The crowd cheers and we open up, and Mark is on the show with us. Mark, how does it feel to be Mr. Mark Willis today?
Right now, slightly squishy on the back of my chair here, but otherwise I'm feeling in great shape. I was just reading the other day that the healthy man has 1,000 goals, but the unhealthy man only has one goal. And so, thank God, I'm feeling good, healthy, and I've got about 1,000 goals.
Now, you're a certified financial planner, and there's some different classifications when we're talking about financial planning. You're a certified financial planner and a three-time best-selling author, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that journey as well, so that's fun. But what inspired you to create a financial system that challenges traditional wealth building strategies?
The honest answer is I was sick and tired of seeing it in my own financial life, and sick and tired of seeing it impacting the clients that I was working with. Short answer, slightly longer answer. I believe that there are at least 4 flat tires on your financial vehicle, which means we're not moving very far very fast. If you've got a traditional financial vehicle like a 401k, an IRA, this would include your self-directeds in a lot of cases as well. Here they are in rapid succession. Number one, fees typically are gobbling up a large portion of your nest egg. Even a low-cost IRA, 401k that you might have through hospital, through employee system, and that would include your 403bs and so forth as well. A fee of just 1%, which you add up the 12b1 costs or the wrap account fees or the just mutual fund fees or the advisor's fees, 1% total aggregate fee. Doesn't sound like a lot, but over a 35-year retirement, that's 27% of your nest egg according to the Department of Labor. 27%!
Mm-hmm.
Number two, market volatility and asset volatility destroys compounding. It's literally impossible to compound your wealth when markets or other investments, stocks, real estate, whatever, can go up and down. And so it's impossible to compound. It's like trying to see an airplane take off the run, do that J-curve runway liftoff, while the pilot constantly is hitting the brakes. It's just not going to ever lift off the ground. So that's the second, is breaking compound growth every time markets have a hiccup or a hissy fit. Number three, we have no idea what future taxation will be. And most of our qualified plans, IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, are tax-deferred vehicles, which is great when you're a high-income earner to lower your taxes today. But it's sort of like jumping out of the frying pan into the fire if you believe taxes are going up in the future.
Or if you believe you're going to make less in the future, too.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then the final last one is, well, how long are we going to live? How long do we need this retirement money to last for us? Most people, if they're honest with themselves, have no clue how much they need to take out of that IRA or 401k or 403b or whatever to make sure that they don't run out of money before they run out of birthday candles. We are investing when we should be saving. Most people think that, oh yeah, if I just throw my money in growth stock, mutual funds or long-term invested, held to maturity bonds or whatever, or an index fund or a target date fund, that they'll be fine. The real investor returns are far less than what are advertised. It's like the difference between what you see on the billboard outside the McDonald's and what you get in your takeaway sack. It's a very different experience. The returns that people promise you versus what you actually get. Case in point, let's say for fun that Brett, you put $10,000 in some stock, and up it goes. It goes up. In fact, it goes up 100%. Your $10,000 mathematically would now be $20,000, right? You doubled the money in 1 year. Not bad. So now you're happy with the investment. You stick with it. So now your $20,000 is invested. Unfortunately, in year two, you lost 50% of your money. So your $20,000 goes right back down to where you started, $10,000. So you had a negative 50% return. So guinea pig with me on this one, Brett, really quick. Do you feel any wealthier 2 years later?
No, I feel like there's wasted time.
Wasted time? Yeah, you earned a lot on paper, you lost a lot on paper, but you weren't any wealthier at the end of the 2 years except for the lost time. But did you know, if we just did the math there, 100 minus 50 divided by 2 years is a 25% average rate of return.
Come again?
100% rate of return in year one, minus 50% in year two, okay? divided by 2 years, the length of time, that gets us our average rate of return. So what's 50 divided by 2 years? 25%. Your average rate of return in that little story example was a 25% average rate of return. Shouldn't you be happy with an average rate of return of 25%, Brett?
Makes me think like I can draw a line from point A to point B straight, or I can draw it squiggly. Which one do you prefer? Yeah.
Well, and take just mentally look at the stock market in your mind. Is it a straight line or is it a squiggly line? The problem with compounding is it's impossible to do when there's a squiggly line. There's the difference between the internal rate of return, which was 0, and the average rate of return, which was 25%. However, the stock market, the Securities Exchange Commission, and every financial advisor in the world really is legal, at least in this country, is legally allowed to advertise an average rate of return.
Shame. I'm pointing the finger for the listeners. Shame on them.
So what was the real return? And why does it matter? Well, I think the real return, by the way, was, this is going to shock you, but according to third-party research firm Dalbar, D-A-L-B-A-R, real investor returns over 30 years was closer to 3.6%.
Oh, wow.
Even though the stock market was doing 9.9%. So that to me is crazy. It's a lot like a HELOC on a house. When you borrow against your cash value, you're getting that money from the insurance company. And this is a company that you are a co-owner in. So it'd be sort of like saying, let's say you and me go into the mortgage business together. You and I own a mortgage company. And let's say, Brett, that I need a loan for my new rental that I want to buy. Am I going to go to any other bank to get my mortgage, or am I coming to you and me? Hopefully I'm coming to you, right? I'm coming to our company. And when I borrow money from our mortgage company, Brett, as a co-owner with me in the business, are you going to want me to repay that loan?
Yes.
Good. That means we're staying in business. Yeah. And as I pay back that loan to the company that you and I own together, who financially benefits?
Both of us.
Both of us do. Yeah, exactly. This is how it works with mutually owned life insurance companies. I borrow the money. They use my cash value as collateral. I repay the loan to the insurance company that I co-own with everybody else, and it's a part of the overall, it's called non-recognized or non-direct recognition policy loans, where my money is still earning full cash value growth and dividends, and even as I've got access to that money for my other investments and opportunities.
And in those policies, not to get too far into there, but do I have to make the annual interest payment on that money, and then I can have it out as long as I want?
Yeah, there's no required repayment plan in your lifetime at all. If you want to take 6 months or 6 years or 60 years to pay back the loan, you're the one that gets to drive that ship. You're the banker here in this case. In fact, there is interest that's accumulated when you borrow from the loans. Of course, it's a real loan. That's why, by the way, you can get the money without taxes due, because loans are not considered income by the IRS, which is so cool. It's a genius move. But if you never pay off the loan, it's just deducted from your very large death benefit when you pass away. A lot of people, I think, try to swing for the lowest interest rate, and that's fair and that's fine. But you guys, you're doctors. You understand that when I put an injection into somebody for a medicine or a vaccine or something, it's not the rate that saves me or kills me. It's the volume that really matters, right? It's the volume that matters. So how much medicine's going into my body is going to be the determining factor of whether I heal my body or it still fights the disease, whatever it is. The same is true with interest. It's not the interest rate that matters, it's the volume. And I had a guy, he was a doctor, he was making good income, and he had great rates of return on his mutual funds. He had done very well for himself, and yet all of his mortgages and everything were all low interest rates, and yet a third of his income, the volume of his money going to interest was 30+%. So it's the volume that was killing him. He could not, even with the mutual funds doing 10+%, he could not overcome the volume that was going out the door. And he kept saying, Mark, I feel like I'm a slave a third of my day I'm working for the bank, and another quarter to a third I'm working
and let's
for
throw the
uncle.
taxes in there, Mark.
Yeah, that's right. Uncle Sam was another third there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he felt like even as he ran his own medical practice, he was, hardly working for himself.